Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Happy Hour Live. Cheers. I have my Four City side dish sour today because we have a very special guest for you, a very special edition of our Happy Hour. This is our first brewery that we've ever done. We have the guys from Four City in Orange here with me today to walk us through some of their holiday beers. So hello, Roger. Hello, Jeff. Thanks for joining.
What's going on? What's happening?
How was it?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Out here, here at
We've
the
all got
brewery.
our Four City. So tell me, so you guys opened about a year ago. Tell me, what's been going on with all this crazy COVID stuff? Are you guys still open?
No, we don't know what's happening. We've been closed for about 4 months now.
Yeah.
We're hoping to get out now. No, it's been great. It's been about just over a year. And, obviously the first few months of COVID was very challenging with home delivery and, curbside pickup and then home delivery. But it's been great. The community support has been fantastic. People really do support us, all the Oranges, Maplewood, everybody. So we've been doing, we keep our head above water. We're dropping about one beer a week now. So the can drop's really good. And Jeff's really brewing some good beer. So we're really happy about that.
Awesome.
Thanks.
And I know that, we came to visit you guys when you first opened. So I know you have that big, massive tap room. There we are walking through. Remember do fun things like this?
Well, we could be all up close to each other.
I know. We didn't even know that in a year we were going to be absolutely decimated.
The wheelbarrow. We still were like raw. Wow.
Yeah. This was actually, I think this was before you guys even opened at all.
Wow. I don't think we brewed anything yet.
I haven't worn a dress since that day. It's all been sweatpants since then.
Me neither.
Exactly. So, you guys have that.
Oh, wow. Is that the cold room? Look at that. It's so empty. Wow. It's completely full of cans right now.
You're convincing me that we need to come back when we can and do another tour because clearly things have changed.
Yes.
It does not look like that.
Yes. No, and another thing that you guys have local art on the wall, right? Along with, we're going to get into the beers in a second, but tell me about your art program because I think that's super interesting.
Yeah, we just had Sadie Brathwaite here, who was awesome for a while, but we have Tyler Art, a great local orange artist who's taken over for the next 3 months. Terry Body, who's our curator here in Orange, who has been working with her for a while. Not only does she do painting and art, but she also does music and does these sound collages. Seriously talented young lady. So next time you're in the tap room, all of her paintings are for sale. She's actually sold a couple already.
Awesome.
So get them while you can.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about Four City is that you guys are very much integrated in your community, and that's why it's called Four City because of the four oranges.
That's right, baby.
Let's dive into. Oh, there we go. We got
downtown Orange. I love it.
Let's dive into our beer. So what I love about this episode is that we're going to walk you through beers that will go well with your holiday table. So if you don't know, like me, even though I'm a food writer, sometimes I still get confused when it comes to beer pairings. So Roger's going to walk us through that. And Jeff is our resident chef. So he's going to show us, some recipes with it.
Yeah. Jeff is he's going to back me up on this. So I wrote down some notes for this. So, just an overview about beer and pairing beer and food. Keep it very simple, right? Oh, yeah. So the December brews. So the beers we're gonna go over today. We're gonna match up are the Super Citrus City that we just dropped this week, the Miseducation of Laurel Hops, which is our flagship IPA, Side Dish Sour, which is probably our most popular Thanksgiving and holiday beer that we have. And we think it's a dunkel. We'll get to that later, and then a stout. So, the three basic rules. Number one, you want to match strength with strength, right? So hot and spicy food tends to go more robust and robust beer, right? You don't want them to compete. The second thing is yours. Like anything, you want to look for harmony. So things that have similar qualities will marry well together. So a fish with a lemon sauce, pale ale, light IPA, a steak or barbecue, something darker. So you want to marry flavor with flavor. And the third thing is that I always say that there are no hard and fast rules to anything. I think people get very this beer must go, IPAs must go with this. It's trust me, Part of the fun, and what we'll find out soon, is pouring the beer, tasting the food, and finding a combination that you never thought would work. So
Yeah.
it's not all that serious.
That was one of the best recommendations I got from a brewer. Who was like, well, here's the question. Do you like it? You know, I was trying to come up with some intelligent thing to say about the beer. He was like, just tell me if you like it. So
Yeah.
that's where to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you just have to just go for it. So with all that said, enough talk. Let's start drinking.
Let's drink.
Let's drink.
It's happy hour.
Yeah, it's happy hour. So Super Citrus City is our first beer that we recommend. It's our pale ale. So pale ales, light, usually not as hoppy as an IPA. I love Citrus City. Citrus City is also the nickname of where we are in Orange, New Jersey. Orange is called Citrus City, so that's what we called it. That. So with a pale ale, obviously, the foods that would probably go best with it that I wrote down. Wide range of foods. So cheese, hamburger, hot dog, whatever you like to drink, it's going to go with, because it's a light enough flavor. It's not going to compete. So. Yeah, nice golden flavor, right? Nice and light.
I know that you're recommending these in the order that we should try them. So
yes.
If you're going out and you're getting a couple of beers from Four City, or really any beer, you want to start off with your lighter one, like Roger said. So you can follow along.
You always want to go. Yeah, you always want to go from light color to darker color, lower ABV to high ABV, ideally.
Gotcha.
Without, with some exceptions. So cheddar cheese is great with this, by the way, which is a good thing. And then also, believe it or not, good things for a pale ale that would pair well with a dessert, like an oatmeal raisin cookie would actually be a really good little match with a pale ale. Again, that sweetness and the crispness, work in. Standard beer. Jeff, what do you have to add to this, Jeff? Anything?
Well, it's got
How'd
that.
You brew it?
So
yeah.
I don't know. I wish I knew. No, I'm kidding. It's actually just a Budweiser that I pour in our tank. Kidding.
Nice.
Don't tell them.
No. So this is representing East Coast. That hazy East Coast New England style IPA pale ale look. We get that with a boatload of oats in the beer, with some of that they call biotransformation, which is a new term in the brewing industry, where you add the hops in the fermenter while it's still actively fermenting. And reach the little bit of research that they've done on it, says that the hops interact with the yeast and it causes the haze in the beer. Most people will say this is an unfinished beer because it's not clear, but the new style of the New England IPA, this is what it looks like. Everybody wants the haze,
right?
As they say, the haze for days.
Haze for days.
But that's how we get that into the beer. Some of our other beers, we clear them up, but it doesn't really affect. I personally can't tell a difference if you were to blindfold me and put a clear version or a hazy version in front of me. I can't tell the difference, but the visual adds to the whole experience. So
yeah.
But this it's basic. I like to keep my recipes pretty simple. I don't want to put everything in the kitchen sink in there and overdo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The more stuff you start adding, it just starts to muddle the tastes and the flavors, and you don't get anything. So I follow the keep it simple rule, and there's like 3 different malts in this. The base malt is the main malt we use, and then we had a couple other things in there just to kind of add some flavoring to the malt profile.
Awesome. And I think that's what the best chefs do. They keep it really simple and they let the ingredients speak for themselves. So same for brewing, you're just letting those ingredients saying that you are adding.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we're our brewing methodology is really, Jeff, and we all believe in this, but Jeff really does well in executing styles.
Mm-hmm.
We believe in, every style has a particular profile, and we like to be able to hit that, base style and then build from there. I think a lot of brewers like going out there and try to change up something that's already working. But again, a lot of times just keeping it simple. Yeah. Beautiful shots, by the way.
Yeah. Look at those photos. All right, let's move on to the next one. What's our beer that we should try for the holidays?
Yeah. That thing right here. the miseducation.
Oh yeah.
Laurel hops, that thing. It's serious. This is our flagship IPA. It's our most popular IPA that we have. Fighting with the Hedison series. Maplewood single-handedly has owned this beer. They buy so much of this beer. It's incredible. Maplewood, they love the beer. Lauren Hills from South Orange, Columbia High School stand-up, whoever's out there. So we wanted to do a tribute to her because she's amazing. And we love IPAs and Laurel hops. Kind of a low-key hop, not really well-known. It's actually brewed with Laurel and Citra hops. But, it imparts a really, every time I drink this beer and I think I'm tired of it, I drink it again, and it's just so light. It's 6%. It's crisp. It quenches your thirst. The hops are on point. I don't know. Again, this is something that our fans told us was the one. We're like, oh, this is okay. And people are like, no.
So this is something that you keep pretty much all year round because it's that good.
Citrus City, the regular Citrus City, not the super. Citrus City and Laurel hops are year round. These are our flagship beers that we will always brew. And
and the Laurel hops and the Citra hops play well with each other because the Citra hops they're a smooth, melony kind of hop, and that Laurel hop has a little more earthiness to it, and it just punches up the beer that much more. We tried it. I actually tried to change it up a little bit with a little less Laurel last time, and halfway through fermentation and tasting it, and I just couldn't even. I was like, nope, we need more Laurel, and it just needed that earthiness to it to really, really cut through. But it's a really cool hop, fairly new.
Awesome.
And that's Ashley behind me, by the way. Ashley, who
Hey, Ashley.
She's also designs all the cans. Her and Tia, she's awesome.
Wow! Oh, that's awesome. I am always so blown away by every brewery. They always have these amazing.
That's Ashley's. Ashley did the side dish sour one, so yeah.
Thank you, Ashley. Are there any particular foods that go well with this beer that spring to mind?
IPAs. The spicier the food, the better. Tacos, chicken wings. This is why IPAs are so popular. I think the popularity in the beer coincides with the popularity of this food movement. But the spicier the food, pad thai, Indian, bring it on.
One of my favorite cuisines to drink with this beer is Ethiopian. There's a great Ethiopian restaurant down the street from where I live.
Walia.
Shout it out.
Walia. These guys are great. They're right in South Orange. They do amazing stuff. And these lighter beers, just really punch through with it.
Perfect. So get your takeout there. Hop on over to Four City. Get yourself the education of Laurel hops, and then go home. You have a perfect night.
Yeah. By the way, Indian food. I for the people out there who are kind of on the fence, please just do it. Find somebody who knows something about it. Walk you through it.
Yes.
Same with Ethiopian food. Trust me. I know it's intimidating. You don't have any forks. What's going on? It's all on injera. Trust me. Ethiopian people, everybody is just so welcoming. They'll show you how. Some of the best food I've eaten, and it's local. So please take advantage. I agree.
It can be intimidating, but don't let that stop you. Start with the chicken masala and move on from there. That's your basic. That's your basic starter, and then
word.
You got it.
And thanks, Ed.
Don't let us get started about diversity. We'll start on that, but that's for another happy hour.
I'll link our story, Roger, so everybody can read it. Okay, let's move on to our next beer. What else do you got for us?
Ooh, well, the sour.
Drinking.
Oh yeah. She's lovely. Seriously, she's really lovely.
Sour's my favorite, so that's why I knew I had to get this one.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, why don't you explain what a sour is? Because I think a lot of people are like, I don't think I like it. Is the beer spoiled?
It depends.
Right.
There's a lot of breweries that are starting to do them. It's a style that's really starting to become popular. I remember my first time I had one was like 5 or 6 years ago at a beer festival, and a buddy of mine was like, "Oh, come on, we got to go try the sour." And I took one sip and I nearly spit it out. I was like, I don't think I can drink this. And now sours are one of my favorite styles across the board. But there's a few different ways that you could get to the end result, getting the beer sour. There's kettle souring, which is fairly quick. There's barrel souring where you put some Brettanomyces, yeast in it, and they call it bugs. It's like a wild yeast, and it gives it a really funky wild sour taste. And we have a secret weapon that we discovered about a year or so ago that we use to sour our beers. It's a very quick method. It's not a kettle sour, but it's just a tartness. It's our sours. I would describe them as a really tart, like a lemonade kind of tart. We bring the pH down on it a little bit, or a lot of it depending on the beer. But it's just that tartness that like this. The side dish is sort of like a cranberry lemonade kind of a taste.
Right. I was gonna say, I mean, it definitely has that cranberry going through. I know it's a cranberry sour ale, so that makes sense.
Sorry.
And this is it's okay, Roger.
Customer came up.
To me, I could drink a sour. I mean, we could all drink any beer by itself, but a sour just has so much flavor. To me, it just doesn't need anything. But if I were to eat something with it, what would I eat with it? Also, Jeff, you have a recipe for us with this one.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have a recipe that I've been brewing. Oh my God, I'm so in my mindset of brewing. But I've been making this recipe for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I forget how I came across it, and I've tweaked it a little bit. But it's a pork chop dish in a cranberry reduction sauce. And when we started making the side dish sours, like, oh my God, this beer would go well, like, to make the reduction sauce. So normally it's a port wine that you use in the reduction sauce. So now I've cut that in half. So I use half port wine and half side dish sour to make this recipe. And it's great. I just made it a week ago and served it to our staff and Roger and the gang over at the brewery a week ago, I think it was.
Yeah,
so
a couple of weeks ago.
It's a really good recipe. So
yeah,
Roger?
we had go ahead. Yeah, we had our staff potluck a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, Jeff came through and it was delicious. I mean, sours, it's funny. People have a tough time pairing sours because they're like, what do I do? It's kind of overpowering. But honestly, like Jeff said, like the first time he had a sour, he almost spit it out. It was like so strong because it was probably so stringent. Again, cheeses, like the stinkier the cheese, the better. That's a perfect marrying with a sour. Those flavors that really sometimes the funk of the cheese gets cut by the sweetness of the sour. Mussels, other seafood that you would squirt any kind of fresh lemon on, lemon and mussels. Like I love oysters, so squirting oysters, getting some lemon juice on those oysters and having a nice cranberry sidey sour. I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow, actually.
I was gonna say also that's a really common, like, a lot of people have mussels and seafood for their holiday appetizers, so you can go straight for start your evening with the sour, guys, because I'm telling you, it's really good. And if you've never tried a sour before, you should try.
And the other thing that I find with sours that I see with people coming into the brewery is that, there's a lot of people they walk in and they're like, I'm not a beer person. What do you got for me? I'm normally doing wine or something like that. Right. And I always point them to the sours first. And then when I say sour, they're, you get the, oh, really? Yeah. And then they try it and they're, the first reaction is, this is beer. And so many people go down that road with the sours and aren't traditional beer, like malty beer people, but the sours is just another way to get into craft beer, a different avenue that'll take you into different flavors.
And we tend to really, again, a lot of what we've done with our brewing, and with this was prevalent in our home brew and on our professional brew, is that we make our beers drinkable. The sour, it's not going to be something. I've had sours that are delicious, but you can only have a small pour or half a can and you're good because it's too sour. A lot of the sours, the IPs that we make, they've got flavor, but you can drink a whole can, drink a whole couple of cans because the flavor isn't as intense as it would be with some other sours. So we're trying to really show people that we want people to stay a while, drink responsibly, to really enjoy the beer.
And like Roger said, we started this as a home brewing thing, and I know I started home brewing because I got into craft beers 15, 20 years ago. And I wanted to make what I was drinking out in, that I was tasting that you 15, 20 years ago, you couldn't really widely get that stuff. You didn't have a lot of craft beers to choose from. So I did it as a way to brew the stuff that I wanted to drink and figure out how to do that. So it's the same at the brewery. A lot of the stuff we brew, probably 99% of the stuff that we brew is stuff that we want to drink ourselves, and that's why we brew it.
Exactly.
If I don't like, if it's something I don't want to drink, I'd rather not brew it. So.
Right, you guys are all beer snobs in the best way. Like, if it doesn't pass your test, it's not going on the tap list.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, I know it's obvious to say, but you got to lead with the liquid. That's what something people have told us from the very beginning. You have to lead with the liquid, and everything else will follow. So, speaking of leading with liquid. So, Jeff, you're gonna have to tell the story about this one because I
got this one too. I'm gonna try it
because there's obviously because Jeff named the beer. It was a half joke, and then we kind of were like,
this side, I realized there was some nonsense happening. If you read the side of the can, you'll know.
Yeah, Jeff named the beer, and you got to tell the story because I'm just like,
So all right. So prior to COVID, we had a full-time brewer on staff, and COVID hit, and things happened, and our brewer we left us, and so I took over the brewing. So this was a recipe that we had worked on about a year ago. So the first time I brewed it myself, I'm like, I'll just try the recipe. So we brew it, and it's supposed to be a Baltic porter, a nice dark heavy Baltic porter lager. Well, it's in the tank and it's coming out. We're like, wow, this is lighter than a porter. Like something's not right with this. Was the recipe off, or what happened here? Did we water it down too much? So we're like, we can't call it a porter. So we're like trying to think of other styles it could be. Is it a dark ale or whatever? So we were talking about a dunkel, and I'm like, yeah, we think it's a dunkel. So for the name in this style.
And yes, a name was born. Well, it's
name was born.
Delicious, and it's kind of the perfect. This is what I want to drink in the winter. Like it's got that malty flavor. It's not super dark, but it's definitely not like the sours or IPAs of the world.
Yeah, and just yesterday. So when I was brewing this, I actually peeled off of the batch a smaller little secret batch of this that I then. So there's a guy from Alta Vista Hops that lives in Montclair, and he comes in the brewery all the time. So he brought these hops in a couple weeks ago that are wild hops. So his hop farm is upstate New York, and apparently, some of the big breweries up there, you had Genesee and whatnot up there. So it used to be a very big hop producing region until Prohibition hit, and then all the hops, went by the wayside. But apparently, these wild hops you can still find them up there on the edges of farms and buildings and stuff. And so he's finding these hops now, and he's packaging them, and he's working on trying to figure out like what's the profile of these things. So he came in with like 4 or 5 samples of them like 2 weeks ago. So I'm smelling them. I'm like, oh, this one is really interesting. So I threw it in this little small secret batch that I had. And then yesterday, I actually put that batch into an oak barrel. So I am going to barrel age this beer that has these wild hops in it. So the base of it is the Dunkel that has some wild hops now that is going to be barrel aged. So that should be ready in about 30 days, but we only have a little tiny amount of it.
So you got to get it while it's hot, basically.
There it is. It's in this little tiny barrel.
Oh my gosh, that is tiny. So you heard it here first. In 30 days, you guys have to get to Four City if you want to try this beer. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. And Jeff, you have a recipe, not necessarily with this one, but I know you have another recipe that kind of pairs well with it.
It does. I do. I've been doing a chili for years. It's a 3-bean chili. I go straight up meat, none of this vegan stuff. Sorry to you vegans out there.
No disrespect.
No disrespect. But you're wrong. Kidding. No, but so I go straight up, a meat chili, 3 beans. It's got onion and pepper and jalapeno in it, and it's really good. So, and what I do is while I'm simmering this chili as it's cooking, I basically put a whole can of the beer in it.
Yeah. Shout out to Damon, man. Damon is an Orange resident. regular customer, great guy, awesome teacher. So respect and respect to Rick too.
Thanks for watching.
Damien wants his reservation now, Jeff. So what's going on? Can we make a reservation?
I don't know. We got to figure something out now that I've let the cat out of the bag.
I think you guys have to give Damon a call at the end of this and make sure that he's got his ticket to the beer.
But again, darker beers. Go with darker, heavier food, barbecue, steak, spicier food. This beer and the stout that we'll do afterwards. Sounds more of a dessert, but you can go. But again, veal. Beef bourguignon, really rich, luxurious, pot roast. That's what you want. Thanks, David. That's what we want back. That's what we want. That's what you want to drink with this beer.
Yeah.
We don't go too crazy because again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So if you're going to do something like this for dinner, you might want to ease up on the 13.5% triple barrel aged stout for dessert. Maybe that goes something lighter, but like a creek or something like that. But the darker the beer, the heavier the meal, and that's what you want.
Awesome. And that's, again, great to know for Christmas because I know a lot of people are having their ham, they're having their beef, those big heavy meals. So this is the one that you want on your table. Yeah,
yeah. It also goes great with just straight up chocolate.
Ooh, well, come on, man.
I can sense that from drinking it. Yeah.
You're pre-selling the last part here with the stout. I was definitely going to mention chocolate.
Well, that's a perfect segue. Tell us about our last beer, the stout.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you about it as I pour myself some right here. I hope this isn't
nice.
Too crazy. But Adjunct. I love this beer so much, Adjunct. I really do. So this was a beer that it was a base beer that we brewed, the stout, and then we split it up into two different varieties and made it some into the blueberry maple stout. That's very popular here. And the other was the chai latte, the Crescent Moon chai latte stout. But this beer is just, I don't know. Every time I think like I'm tired of drinking stouts, then Adjunct pops up. It makes me question my life choices in general.
All stout all the time.
Look at that. That's just right.
That looks amazing.
I'm sorry if you're not. I wish for all of you guys who are my age who remember watching what was it Polyester with Smell-O-Vision. I wish I had Smell-O-Vision right now. Remember the thing come up on the screen They'll just have
to come in and try it, or in a liquor store. Which is what I did today. You guys have a very convenient. Where can you find Four City on your website? So if anybody's looking for these beers, you can type in there and get some.
But Adjunct is just we're actually brewing more stouts. Very great. I personally like the body. I love the mouthfeel, all of that. For me, stout is the end of the meal. So you can have stouts any time of the day. But for me, when I think about stout, as far as a pairing, I'm pairing it with dessert. So like Jeff says, chocolate cake, chocolate, devil's food cake, brownies, molten chocolate, whatever, chocolate truffles, chocolate upon chocolate, chocolate raspberry, I'm saying, just anything dark and decadent. A stout just adds, for me, when I drink a stout, I feel like I'm being fancy because I'm not only eating a decadent meal, but I'm also throwing it out with a decadent drink. And it's just, it's the perfect way to end the night. I'm a big fire pit person. The people who know me, I have a fire pit in my backyard. There's nothing better than having some dark chocolate candy in your lap, fire pit, and a stout in your hands.
And with social holidays, that might be what everybody is doing, bundling up outside by the fire pit and with a stout in hand.
I might do that in about an hour because it seems like it's midnight, but it's like 5:30. So I might do that literally in about an hour.
And we've got more stouts coming this winter. As we're getting into the colder months and the darker months. We have a big stout, 10% stout in the tank right now that we're actually going to split into two. We're going to take half of that. We're going to put some in barrels and we're going to age it for a year. So that'll be So we'll be talking about that one next December when we pull it out of the barrels and do something with that. And we're going to take another part of it, and we're going to probably do some fun adjunct to it. Some kind of there's the barrels. So a shout out there. We just got those from the New York Distilling Company
Nice.
over in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. We took a little road trip over there the other day and loaded them up in a truck and brought them back, and they were nice enough to give us a great deal on them. And we tasted their stuff. So their rye whiskey is off the charts. Awesome. So and that's what was in those barrels, and it was just pumped out of them recently. So they're fresh. They smell amazing when you stick your nose in there. So we're gonna be putting a big 10% stout in there and letting it sit for about a year.
Ooh.
So it'll pull out that whiskey that whiskey flavor, the oaky barrel, the vanilla comes out of the oak barrels into the beers. It's gonna be really, really nice. And then we'll do something fun with the other half.
We'll have to do another happy hour a year from now when that beer is ready, and then we'll talk about it.
A whole year? We're gonna wait a whole another year. Let's talk about doing this next month.
But hopefully we could do that one in person.
Yeah, I was gonna say hopefully we'll all be vaccinated and I could actually try it with you guys.
Word, that would be awesome.
Well, thank you both so much. It's so fun talking with you. I love talking with you guys. You're one of my favorite Jersey breweries. So I want to thank you so much for coming on our first Brewery Happy Hour Live.
Yeah, anytime.
Excellent. Thank you.
Awesome.
You guys are awesome. The support that we have from you guys, seriously, we cannot thank you guys enough for the support that we have. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I got you. We love
Jersey strong, baby.
Our favorite thing to do is to go to breweries. So I'm trying to make a career out of just going to drink at breweries. So you guys
drink
help
local, drink small.
Yes.
drink local, drink often, stay safe. We will survive this, guys. We'll be all right. Beer will get you through. We're essential. We got you.
Right. It's so true. It's COVID proof. All right. Thank you guys so much again. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Cheers. Yeah.
And I want to thank you all so much for joining us. Hopefully you've had some inspiration for your holiday beer that you're going to get. Again, I want to thank Roger Apollon Jr. and Jeff Gaddens, our two wonderful owners of Four City. And we will see you next week with another Happy Hour Live. Cheers.